What is going on, guys? This is Benny here, bringing another Brawl Stars video. Today, we are going to be going over one of my favorite brawlers that kind of brings me back to my roots, and that's kind of quick scoping. Like, I used to be heavily into like quick scoping and sniping and everything, and competitive Call of Duty and all that stuff. And if you can't tell already, it is Piper. And I did actually have a few YouTube videos of my like quick scope montages from like 2011 on this channel, but I opted to delete those when I started posting Clash of Clans, so they're no longer on the channel. But yeah, today we are going to be going over Piper. She is very, very good in a few specific game modes. We're going over everything that you need to know about her, how to play her better, how to trophy push with her better, how to improve with her, and what maps and modes you should be playing her on. So hopefully you guys are excited. Definitely leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy the strategy videos, and stay tuned. We do have like the big game coming up soon, so I'll be giving you guys a strategy on that as well. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So Piper is the longest range brawler in the game, and she does massive, devastating damage at her max range. She is kind of like the inverse of Leon in a sense, where Leon does a lot of damage up close and not a lot of damage from afar, whereas Piper does a massive damage from afar but not a whole lot of damage up close. So she is very, very good at sniping and just taking out brawlers, and it really packs a punch. So at max level, one of her shots is going to do 2,296 damage. And if you pair that with her star power, what her star power is when Piper is in a bush or in a brush, she actually adds on 400 damage to her shot at max range, and then it kind of looks like a rainbow added to her shots. So yeah, add on 400 to that, it would be 2,696. That's pretty strong. And if you land all three without the star power, at max range would be 6,888. That'll take care of almost all of the brawlers except for the tanks. So you can see she is very, very devastating. Now up close, her shot is very weak, so you definitely want to keep your distance with her, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Now for Piper's super, it is very useful for her and helps her out a lot. There is one issue I have with it, but her super, she basically can hop away, and it leaves 3 grenades on the map, and those grenades deal quite a bit of damage. So with her having that low damage up close, like we stated, she can reposition her, like use her super to jump away, reposition herself, and be in a better shot or a better spot to maybe shoot the brawler that was right on top of her, or even just get away or move to a different part of the map. Sorry if you hear my phone here, but there's one issue that I have with it. It is those grenades, when you hop away, are pretty random. Like sometimes you want to break a wall and you walk right up to the wall and you jump away, and those grenades may or may not hit it. So if there's one change that I would love for her moving forward, is maybe consistency with her grenades, so it's not random where they go. Like maybe one will always go facing to the front of her and like kind of like to like in a triangle around her. I think that would be better, but the randomness hurts. But it's really, really useful. Like I said, it's gonna break walls, hop away when she's in a bad spot or just almost dead, or like a close range brawler is trying to get close to her and she's out of position. She can reposition, deal damage to that brawler with the grenades, and maybe even shoot her and get that max range, because you really want to try and be at far range with her almost at all times. So now I want to go over the game modes you should be playing Piper in and the ones you should avoid, and then along with that, the maps you should be playing her on, because she's a little bit different and she only shines on a lot of the maps aside from Bounty. So the first up, Bounty is her best mode. A lot of people consider her like a one-trick pony. Like mainly they say, oh, I should only be playing her in Bounty, which is pretty good. This is pretty accurate. Like a lot of times you just want to be playing her on Bounty because she is one of the staple brawlers for Bounty with how much damage she deals. And a lot of the team comps like that are running Bounty is like Piper, Brock, and Penny. So you want to pair kind of like a Brock with Piper a lot to maybe open up the map. You may hear Chloe jumping around. I don't know if my mic picks it up, but yeah, you want to pair her with like a Brock, usually to like, if it's a map, to open it up, and it just gives like wide shooting lanes for the Brock and the Piper, and then the Penny can usually be okay and just throw under mortar and stuff. But that's on the majority of the Bounty maps. So there's only one map where I would say you might want to avoid her unless you're really confident you can open up the map and everything, and that is Outlaw Camp, because there is so much grass on that map. And the grass respawns. I think before global launch, the grass never respawned. Like the yellow grass doesn't respawn, but green grass always does respawn or like regrow. And this map, I feel like she would struggle because there's so much, unless you had like a bow with this star power where you have constant vision on everyone. So that map I might tend to stay away from in Bounty, but every other map she's the best brawler for sure. You typically, most team comps are gonna rock her, and just because of her huge amount of damage. So bounty, definitely push her up in bounty. So her next best mode, I would say, is gem grab. Although I think it's very specific for what maps you want to use her on, because you want to, basically the general rule for Piper is you want to use her on maps that have like wide open shooting lanes and where there's a lot of openness, so she can get those max shots done and she can maybe escape and back off and survive. So for gem grab, the maps that I would tend to play her on, the other ones I'd probably stay away from her unless you kind of want to test your luck, but the two maps I for sure would play her on as like a gem carrier, if you wanted to, would be, I think that's her best role for gem grab, because she has that escapability with her super and everything to maybe go and get a bunch of gems and be able to hop out or whatever. But it is Echo Chamber and Stone Fort. I know I talked about this in yesterday's video a little bit, but aside from that, you can try her out on Death Cape Cave and Crystal Cavern, because there is those open lanes and it's fairly easy to like open up the map. So if you do the strat kind of like with the gem grab to play with her is like I said, pair her with like a Brock or a Brawler that can open up the map. You don't really, because once the map's opened up and like there's really no cover behind walls and stuff, the short range Brawlers are gonna have a nightmare time like dodging all your shots, and just it's gonna be in your best interest to do that if you are opting to play like Piper on the maybe maps like Death Cave and Crystal Cavern. Now on Stone Fort and Echo Chamber, you don't have to. You can for sure, like especially on Stone Fort. Sorry if I'm mixing up my words here, guys. Where those L's come down, like the L walls in front of your spawn, if you have a lot of long range Brawlers on your team, you can open that up to maybe make, if your opponent has like short range Brawlers or shotgun Brawlers, be kind of rendered useless, because they just have to dodge and dodge and dodge, and you'll pretty much know where they'll be and they have no cover to hide behind. So that's kind of one of the bigger strats with her. But gem grab, there's only a couple maps I would try her on, and the next mode is Showdown and Duo Showdown. I tend to stay away from her pretty much on every single map except for two on Showdown, and that is Thousand Lakes, because there's a lot of wide open lanes, and basically you can get kind of lucky in that if you ended up getting like a couple of power cubes or whatever, you can tend to like one shot or almost two shot Brawlers and everything, and there's usually a long distance between shots. The other one is, which is her best map for Showdown, and that is Double Trouble. This one, there's huge open lanes. I tend to stay out of the middle with her in Double Trouble, but there's a lot of grass that she can camp in as well to get, if you have her star power, that extra little damage. And those are the two, and they work both well in Duo Showdown and regular Showdown. So Thousand Lakes, Double Trouble. Other than that, I'd say it's pretty risky to throw her down in those maps. So these are kind of the maps. Like she kind of has like 2 to 3 or 4 maybe on gem grab depending, and then only really 2 out test her on Showdown. But bounty, she has like every map, so that's why I can see why people consider maybe only like a one-trick pony and stuff. So I already did kind of go over this a little bit for the gem grab, like for the strategies that you want to do with her in game on the modes. And for bounty, it's pretty simple. You a lot of times want to open up the map, like just to get those wide shooting lanes. Now it really depends on your team comp too. Like a lot of times you want to open up the map when it's optimal for you guys. Like if you have like a all long range team, you kind of want to open it up to make it wide lanes and give like the enemy team less cover. But now, like say you have a short range Brawler, maybe you win in solo and you have a couple shotgunners, then I'd say maybe it's like beneficial to keep those walls so your shotgunners and stuff can maneuver around the map and everything. And then obviously if you have a high bounty, you want to play really passive and just back off. And if your team has the lead and it's kind of winding down, even if your team, maybe there's still like a minute and a half left or something, if you have like a pretty comfortable lead or even just a little lead in general and it's a tough match, just make the enemy team sometimes just come to you, like kind of chill back, chill in your spawn. Not, I wouldn't say chill in your spawn, but just make the enemy team to come to you. You don't want to be just continue to rush the enemy team if you have the lead in bounty. So keep that in mind. This will move into like the general tips right now. So you don't typically want to auto aim with her unless you're really up close. I know I say that with like majority of the Brawlers, or if they're just running like straight at you, then it's okay too. And if you need to like get your shots off incredibly fast to like not die, but you want to get in good practice of manually aiming with her, especially at the far range. And along with that, you want to learn to like strafe with her. I know I've talked about strafing a lot on the channel already. That's basically moving left to right, kind of like in this motion right here, like when you're shooting. And it's very important to do this when you're like maybe dueling with like another brawler, and this could be a Colt, it could be a Brock, it could be a Piper, whatever, or it could be a Penny. Strafing and fighting is really important, and you want to manually aim and maybe try and lead your shot a little bit, because the strafe is going to make it tough. It's going to make it very tough for you to get hit, and it's going to make it very tough for them to maybe predict your movements of where you're going to go. And don't always just go like back and forth. You could go a little bit one way, and then when you think they're going to shoot, juke back the other way. So you kind of want to lead the shot a little bit, or try and predict. You might want to maybe shoot to the left of them and the right of them. But that gets me to the next point too, is like, try and conserve your shots a little bit. You don't just want to spam all of them and then you have no shots to go, because she reloads incredibly slow. And if you don't have all 3 of your shots, sometimes you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So don't be afraid to like back off sometimes, and just let yourself reload those 3 shots and then go back and try and shoot them. Because a lot of times you might get a hit on the enemy, but you can't finish them off because you ran out of shots. So be selective, especially at far ranges when you're trying to snipe the enemies, unless you know like, all right, they're just gonna chill there, I'm gonna rapidly fire these off. And then that kind of plays into the next one too, where I said back off and reload. When you get hit as Piper, and this is incredibly important in Bounty too, like when you get hit and you're not at full health, and you're maybe going up against another Brock or another Piper, you want to just back off and let yourself heal up. This is kind of in general with any brawler in Bounty, but because those enemy Pipers, if you don't have full health usually, and you go back into fighting maybe with like half health or 3/4 health, if the Piper gets a max range shot on you, you're gonna get one-shotted. So make sure if you get hit as Piper, you if possible, back off to the spawn, reload up, heal up, and then join the fight. Make sure you heal up all the way too. That is very important, because if you go out 3/4 health or whatever, Piper is going to have that huge advantage, because you may hit her, but she's not going to die, and you may maybe like trade shots, but you're going to get one-shotted then. So heal up with her. Tip 2 I'll share right now is Piper is incredible at the peek shooting. This is where you're kind of chilling behind the wall. You peek out, and you shoot, and you hop back right behind the wall and without getting touched. The main 2 that are really good at this is Brock and Piper. I would say you typically want to manually aim down, kind of aim it towards the brawler, shoot it, and then bounce back. Sometimes you may hit the wall when you're first learning it. Even that still happens to me sometimes when I'm trying to be too quick. But that's very helpful, and a lot of times you can still be in the grass when that happens too. So get used to peek shooting. You may see it in the gameplay. The gameplay that I'm showing you is my push up to 500 trophies Piper. I feel like I could have pushed her up a lot earlier. I was just focusing on other brawlers. I don't know why, but Piper is definitely one of my favorites, even though she's one of the last brawlers I push up to 500. But those are overall my main tips with her. Generally every bounty map, couple of the gem grabs, couple of the showdowns, but I don't know, I would say typically stay towards bounty and try and build a decent comp around you. If you're going solo and you get paired up with a Brock or a Penny, try and maybe, and if they're decent too, try and maybe team up with them or play again with them and everything. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys have any other tips that you want to share so we can help out some other players learn Piper and everything, let us know down below. But remember, Piper is not a close range brawler. She does like no damage up close, so only try and get up close to a brawler when you know you can finish them off with your reduced damage up close. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what brawler you guys would like me to do next. Subscribe if you have not already. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.